Hey guys, it's Ben again, and this is another excerpt from SuperHouse Podcast, a podcast currently known as Superhero Stuff You Should Know, where I co-host. What you're about to hear was from 2018, just a few months after the release of the notorious Joss Whedon cut of Justice League, and we were all let down by it. We didn't really know the full details of what Zack Snyder had originally intended, or the possibility that we'd ever get to see the original cut of the film. So I went on the pod for their 100th episode, and I pitched a rewritten version of the movie we had seen. While we did turn this into its own short video essay later, the full 30-minute pitch hasn't been on YouTube until now. This version features a lot of character moments and emotion that I had to skim over in the video essay. There are some elements here that may be in the Snyder Cut that I kind of predicted, and there are other elements that definitely aren't. But I'll let you discover most of that for yourself. Quick disclaimer, one element that definitely isn't in the Snyder Cut but is in this is Cyborg saying the catchphrase, "Booyah." Again, this was before the controversy that happened recently with fans arguing about the use of it, but to give you a full context, back in 2018, we all thought that the use of it in the Whedon cut was really lame and tacked on. So our co-host Maddie gave me the idea of how it could have been used more organically and as a story device to convey Victor Stone taking his life back in this version, rather than just lame fan service. Obviously, the character works well without the catchphrase either way. Also, full disclosure, I edited out a few tangents from the podcast episode so that this video would be more focused on the pitch. Other than that, enjoy this, and I hope we all enjoy the Snyder Cut of Justice League coming on March 18th, 2021.
All right, so this is a little gift for you guys for your 100th episode, as well as the listeners, and this is the SuperHouse Podcast rewrite of the Justice League, based off of the ideas that you guys sort of had in the last review, as well as criticisms you had for it. This isn't quite like some of the other times where I've been like, my idea for is this for the movie, where I kind of just gave you once over. This is kind of, I'm going to go a little bit more into detail of each act, but this is as if everything else before Justice League already happened. So we can't, it's be cheating, I thought, if we like rewrote the entire DCEU and it's like, yeah, this is the Justice League movie. But we also had a Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash movies all beforehand.
Right.
So this is as if the Snyder and Whedon script or the cut or is already finished, and for whatever reason they turned Warner Brothers in this alternate future turns to SuperHouse to save the Justice League movie. There's a moment for each one of you guys in the SuperHouse. So right off the bat, for you, Stefan, I think it was you who pitched that it would be Darkseid as the villain. Darkseid is the villain of this movie instead of Steppenwolf. It'll be Charles Dance as the voice instead of Kieran Hines as Steppenwolf. An upgrade in both character and actor, in my opinion. Sorry, Kieran.
So we'd love to have you on the podcast, by the way.
Ben does not speak for the SuperHouse as a whole.
Remember, I'm the correspondent. I'm not part of the podcast. So we would open with kind of a mindfuck of an opening where it's the apocalypse and Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Cyborg are gearing up for war. And if you're an audience member, you're kind of like, okay, I guess this is one of those things where you see the third act first and the whole movie's a flashback. Not quite, but I'll explain that later. So they're about to go in, and Batman is with this sort of other character who's sort of mech'd out in armor and shit. And they're about to rescue all these hostages, including J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon. And you reveal that who's in the mech suit is our main character, who is the Flash. Now, why the hell is he in a mech suit? Batman sort of built him some armor because the threat is so big that that person also has super speed, and he wants to protect the Flash from all that stuff. So we introduce the Flash, and he is clearly, from just how he's acting, the least experienced of all these other superheroes. He doesn't quite know what he's doing, and this is where you get the moment that's in the movie where he's like, I've never really done battle before. I've just pushed some people and run away. Batman teaches him, and he's just like, all right, save one, and like try to do your best to save all the humans. I'll take care of the parademons. So the Flash does his thing. Batman is fighting all the parademons. Flash's duty is basically to lead all the humans to safety through the tunnels to get to the Batcave. But unfortunately, a threat is like coming towards them. They're getting chased, and the Flash is like, all right, you know what? I'll stay behind and hold them off. And it's Commissioner Gordon who sort of brings up to him, like, you're the one with superpowers. The world needs you more than it needs me. So Gordon takes off his coat and he gives it to Flash and says, give this to Batman. It's the coat I wrapped around him when he was a kid, when his parents were killed. And Flash is like, wait,
fucking
what?
Chills.
And then
chills.
And Gordon's like, tell Bruce, I've always known it was him.
Okay.
And Flash is like, all right, he speeds off, and it's Gordon's last stand. And it's J.K. Simmons in his first scene as Gordon getting. We talked last time about how like he didn't get a scene to really do anything.
Yeah.
This is his scene. where he gets to do Gordon's last stand, and we reveal that the threat coming with super speed and everything is Superman. Superman is fucking evil. And Gordon tries his best, but ultimately Superman's heat vision goes off, and you can kind of figure out what happens from there. Flash shows up in the Batcave, and Batman comes back, and he seems distraught. Why? Because he was just in the fight with all the other Justice League members with Superman, and Superman has killed Wonder Woman, Cyborg, and Aquaman.
Oh, shit.
Now, again, this as you're an audience member, you're kind of like, okay, what the hell is this? Is this like the end of the third movie that got like put in the beginning? And Batman is already in grief, and he sees the coat in Flash's hands, and he realizes what happened to Gordon too. And he tries to hide it, but he brings up, okay, this is last resort. And we sort of get the idea of what's been going on is that Darkseid has been attacking the world. Lois Lane was killed. And because, Superman's tethered to humanity was taken away, Darkseid took advantage of that, took Superman and brainwashed him and turned him into a pawn. And that's why the world has gone to such shit, because you have one of the most powerful beings ever just enslaving everybody.
Yeah.
And Batman's like, all right, well, I have the final contingency, and it involves you, Barry. And the Flash is like, well, what do you want me to do? And Batman says, well, I've studied your speed, and you have the capability of breaking the space-time continuum, which means you can go back in time and warn me about everything that happens. So tell me, we got to save Lois Lane to make sure that Superman, doesn't turn evil, he doesn't get taken advantage of. You got to tell me not to be so complacent about my friendship with Clark. And you have to tell me to gather all of you guys. I only gathered you to fight Superman, but if we gathered everybody together against Darkseid, we could have prevented all this. Flash isn't really sure if he can pull this off because he's never done it, but ultimately he kind of has a goodbye with Bruce. He knows he's going to see Bruce again, but Bruce knows that this is probably the last time he's going to see Flash. So the Flash takes off, and Batman sort of dons Commissioner Gordon's coat. And if you're an audience member who's seen Batman vs. Superman, you realize this is all prequel to the Knightmare vision in Batman vs. Superman, when he's got the coat on, it's the apocalypse and everything like that. And he's literally sent Flash back in time to try to fix things. So Flash shows up. Flash shows up, and he's in the scene from Batman vs. Superman. Except now you actually know what the fuck is actually going on.
Right.
Where he said,
Brilliant.
Where he comes out and he says, hey, Bruce, listen to me now. It's Lois Lane. She's the key. She's the key to turning, making sure that Clark stays a Superman.
Right.
Bruce is just staring at him because he doesn't know what the hell's going on in the context of the movie.
Right.
And Flash realizes, am I too soon? This is direct dialogue, by the way, from Batman vs. Superman. He's like, too soon. Like, okay, you're right about him. You're right about Superman.
Right.
You need to fear him. And you have to find us. You have to find all of us. And he's trying to finish the warning and clarify shit, but he gets pulled out of the Speed Force.
Okay.
And he's tumbling through time, and he lands maybe like a week or two later. And he tears off all the mech armor and shit because he's just like, it's all on fire and everything. So he's just down to the Flash undersuit. And he's looking around trying to figure out where he is. And he finds out everybody's lined up for a funeral. And it's the funeral for Superman. And Flash is like, holy shit, what the hell did I do? And that's you got the opening titles of Justice League, and that's sort of reveal that everything that happened after Flash's cameo, everything after Flash's cameo, Batman vs Superman, all of Suicide Squad, all that happened because Flash fucked up the timeline.
Yes.
So
apologizing for Warner Brothers, are we?
The Flashpoint shit and rewriting the whole universe, that really works.
Yeah, it would work.
I just want to say what you've laid out right now was better than the movie I watched. I am far more intrigued and ready to know what happens next than I ever was watching Justice League.
Anytime Flash is like,
Superman.
Anytime Flash is like, oh my god, what do I do? And then you cut to the fucking Justice League, like the title credits. Like, fuck.
Oh my god.
Fuck, that would be good.
So throughout the first act, we get some of the same stuff from the movie where Darkseid lands in Themyscira, gets the mother boxes. We kind of know the whole backstory where the Amazons, the Atlanteans, humans each had a mother box after fighting Darkseid. He's back to sort of reconquer the world. We can add in a little detail that's kind of like the comics where Darkseid comes down whenever the world is has run out of hope. Diana has seen the whole flaming arrow in the building, goes to Bruce. So this is very similar to the movie. The twist is when she shows up in the Batcave to tell Bruce, someone else shows up in the Batcave, and it's Barry. And Bruce, of course, is like, what the hell? Who the hell are you? But he kind of recognizes him sort of from the Vision from Batman vs. Superman, right? And Barry's like, I've showed up to find out what the hell you did. Because in my timeline, Superman and Batman were like, you guys were partners. You know, Batman was the one who figured out Lex Luthor was going to bomb the Senate. and teamed up with Superman to prevent that. Flash comes from a timeline where Superman and Batman did a whole full-on world's finest team up for a while.
Okay.
And Bruce's mistake was he trusted Superman to the point where he destroyed the kryptonite. That's why in the warning in the when he tried to warn him, he's like, fear him. But unfortunately, Bruce he showed up too soon before Bruce even established that friendship with Clark, and Bruce misinterpreted that warning in the movie and thought, oh, that means that I need to kill Superman.
Right.
So
Nice.
This is our way of explaining how that came about. Because if you notice, if you watch the movie in Batman v Superman, like he doesn't really plan to start killing Superman until after Flash shows up.
Okay. Yeah,
so
true.
again, this is all because Flash sort of messed up the timeline. Batman's story in this then is realizing that a lot of the shit that went wrong was because of him in the previous movie, and sort of grappling with that guilt and sort of redeeming himself by forming this team. End of Act 1, everyone like Wonder Woman and Batman kind of are in the know about this whole alternate timeline business, and they're like, all right, we need to recruit the next two because it's kind of too late. Superman's already dead.
Right.
So that's Aquaman and Cyborg. Now, this is going to be different from the recruitment that we saw in the movie, because in this version, it's Wonder Woman who recruits Arthur. And it makes more sense because she has to go, in this version, to Atlantis. She's the only one who can survive the trip. Buried with super speed, that's not going to do anything. And Bruce, he didn't know he was going to go all the way down there, so he's not prepared for that contingency.
Right.
So she says, I want you to see Atlantis. I want you to see like all the soldiers in the army there and know this guy's a fucking king.
Right.
He doesn't need to actually like help out and shit. And so when she meets him, he says no, because the surface dwellers have like polluted the environment and everything for years. What the hell am I supposed to do? My duty is to protect Atlantis and Atlantis alone. And Diana sort of relates to him, being like, I almost turned into you at the end of World War One. I saw how bad humanity was, and I almost turned my back on it. But like, if you only spent more time with humans, you would see that they're worth saving. And Arthur's like, you don't know me. I was born human. I elected just a few years ago, to be here in Atlantis after all this stuff. I've seen what's up there, and I still don't like it. And by the way, you were the last person you should have sent to recruit me, because I've heard of Superman, I've heard of Batman, I've never heard of you.
Damn.
So
kind of hitting at her, her being in hiding for so long.
So that's Wonder Woman's story through the thing, is she's been hiding for so long, she has to become more of a leader. Whereas Aquaman's story is about how is this guy who's all about Atlantis, what's going to make him want to join this group who wants to save everybody who's on the surface.
Right.
So we set up those arcs there. For Victor, for Cyborg, we meet him when he's playing football.
Right.
And this is where this is my tribute to Maddie, because he had this idea where he's playing football. It's the final, it's the final countdown for the game. Right. He scores that touchdown. He slams the football down. He goes, "Booyah!" Just like his tagline. And he looks up.
That's all I wanted.
Yep. And he looks up into the audience and he sees his mom there clapping, but next to his mom is an empty space.
Papa, no.
Yeah. So of course, Cyborg, Victor complains to his mom. Could he be even more of a cliche of the workaholic father, sort of thing? And he goes to Star Labs, and this is a moment right from Justice League Origin. This is Jeff Johns, where he confronts his dad and says, like, I have all these talent scouts from like NFL and shit who want me to play football for them, and they've all shown up to my games, and you haven't shown up to a single one.
Right.
And Silas Stone is like, my work is more important than your stupid football games, just like that. Like, they have a big argument in the comic, and I would kind of just faithfully adapt that. And almost right after that, both in the comic and in this movie, is when you sort of see that his team has been experimenting on the mother box just to see what it's about. And they accidentally unleash something in it that causes an explosion that kills Victor's mom and maims him into becoming the cyborg.
Right.
So we see that this is all kind of being shown to us, we realize this is a flashback being shown to us because Victor's replaying this. Right. Now we see him in like cyborg gears. He's like replaying the past in front of him, which shows that he can't let go of that right now. He's he's not used to that. And we have a similar scene with him and his dad, where his dad is trying to keep the mother box and everything, and Victor doesn't really want anything to do with the mother box. He just wants his life back. He just wants to go back to playing football. This was never supposed to happen to him. He just wants to get back into a human body or something like that. And the person who comes to show up to recruit him isn't Diana, because in my opinion, Diana doesn't really have much to relate to him. It's the Flash. Okay. Because the Flash is like, well, years ago, I was struck by lightning in the crime lab, and I just randomly, my life turned upside down, just like yours turned upside down. I know how it's like to suddenly get a life that you never even thought about. And I know it's tough, but like the only way to grapple with it is to use it and help us out. And of course, Victor is so early in his in this point of time in being Cyborg, that he's like, look, like, I'm just trying to get my life back together, man.
Mhm.
Like, you want to talk about these mother boxes or whatever the heck you call them? Like, you want my dad for that shit. You don't want
Mhm.
me. I don't know anything about these.
Right.
And Flash is like, okay, that wasn't supposed to happen. That's
Uh-huh.
not the Cyborg I know. So he goes back to the Batcave and sees, okay, well, I guess we didn't get to recruit anybody yet because Aquaman and Cyborg refused, which is weird because that's not what I'm used to. So again, we're playing around with the fact that Flash knows a different version of these guys.
Mhm.
Darkseid comes to Atlantis, steals the mother box. Similar scene to what we got in the movie. And
Mhm.
Arthur at this point is just like, all right, screw it. I got to go to the surface to get that mother box back.
Uh-huh.
But that's his main goal, is to get the mother box back for his people, not necessarily because like, okay, now I guess I got to save the surface dwellers. He's not quite there yet.
Right.
We have similar scenes with Cyborg's dad gets taken still. Mr. Gordon finds out, calls everybody on the bat signal, brings Wonder Woman, Batman, and the Flash over. They meet with Cyborg. They all decide to go off. Same beat where Gordon looks away, he turns back, and only Flash is there, except we don't end the scene on a joke. Because this is the first time the Flash has seen Commissioner Gordon since Commissioner Gordon sacrificed himself for him. So Flash is like, hey, I know you don't really know me, but I just want to let you know, just because all of us have costumes and shit doesn't mean, we do our part, but you're a hero too, Commissioner. Right. And he races off. And Gordon's like, nice kid. No idea what that was about, but okay.
Tears roll down Maddie's face. Just
But a nice little bonding moment, and again, something to give J.K. Simmons to play with. Similar sequence where they have to save Cyborg's dad, except in this version, it's a chaotic mess because these two this team hasn't learned to work together yet. So you got Cyborg, Batman wants to be all stealthy and shit about it, but then Cyborg sees his dad's in trouble and just randomly goes in, and Batman's like, oh, idiot. So like he's pissed off. Wonder Woman goes in with her sword and everything and doesn't really follow anything Batman says. Aquaman shows up and he wants to take control of everything because he's a king and he's used to being in charge.
Right.
So he and Batman are butting heads. Flash, in the meantime, is like in the middle of this being like, what the hell, guys? Am I the only one like doing my job here? So he's saving humans and everything, and they succeed in like saving the humans, but like they don't succeed in basically stopping Darkseid. They all reconvene in the Batcave. And everybody's arguing, and it's Barry who tells everybody to shut up. And he tells them, like, in my timeline, you guys are idols. You guys are my heroes. I don't recognize who the hell you guys are. And he points to Batman, you taught me how to save people. You're supposed to be the strategy. You're supposed to plan shit, not keep all this shit to yourself.
Right.
I'm like, I don't recognize any of you guys, that sort of thing. And so it's all this big difference between the Justice League he's used to. And it sort of like awakens them to be like, okay, there's a lot more shit going on than just our petty grievances. Darkseid still hasn't found the third mother box. Victor has that. They're trying to figure out, okay, what's Darkseid's next move. Another twist is that Bruce insists on Victor's dad sort of staying with the team because he knows the most of the mother box. He's like, look, if shit goes really wrong, Darkseid's going to bring all the mother boxes together. I want your dad to sort of program you or have some sort of contingency to separate and destroy them, if that ever happens. And Victor doesn't, he saved his dad, but he doesn't really want to spend more time with him on this shit. And Batman sort of sets him straight. And he's like, look, your dad's still alive. You should be grateful for that. Like, not every son gets to save his father.
Right.
Just like he wasn't able to. So that sort of awakens Cyborg in his arc to sort of eventually forgive his dad. And they find out that there's a body that went missing from the Smallville cemetery.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and Batman puts it all together that, oh my God, Darkseid is going to resurrect Superman and turn him into a pawn.
Fuck yeah.
So which means that the future that Barry's from can still happen. So we got to prevent that. We got to do whatever we can to make sure that Darkseid doesn't succeed in resurrecting Clark. Now, just like in the movie, Clark does get resurrected, so they fail in what they do. And you kind of have a similar scene because we all love that where Superman fights off the rest of the Justice League. And Batman still kind of has that contingency plan with using Lois Lane. And Lois kind of has to fight through, in my version, she's kind of fight through more debris and everything. Things are falling all over the place, and she has to like walk through all that just to get to Clark. And she kind of has the faith that he's not going to hurt her. And the one who takes notice of this most is Aquaman, because it's been a while since he's seen a human actually like risk it all and seen bravery and things like that. So it kind of feeds into his arc. Lois comes and sort of helps Clark snap out of it. And Superman sort of just collapses and falls into a coma in this version. Darkseid has basically used Superman to distract him enough for him to get the third mother box. So we're at the end of Act 2, Superman is in a coma. Darkseid has all 3 mother boxes. This Justice League can kind of sort of work together, but not quite the way that, Barry's used to. And, things have kind of started going to shit now because Darkseid's got 3 mother boxes. He's in Russia. Aquaman decides, all right, I'm going to go back into the ocean because this is like game over for everybody. And Diana's like, well, you saw what happened with Lois Lane. He's like, yeah, this is one human. Everything there's like 5 of us, and that's not going to be enough to go up against Darkseid. And he takes off into the ocean. So Aquaman's out. Batman, in the meantime, sees that this whole team thing doesn't quite worked out, but Superman is at least back. And he's sort of struck by the words that Superman had that's in the movie where he told him, like, hey, the world needs you. And Superman says, but doesn't need you. Mm-hmm. And so Batman's like, all right, well, I kind of know what I have to do. And he loads up this huge-ass bomb into the Batwing, and he takes off to Russia. And the team realizes he's going on a suicide mission. Mm-hmm. And he didn't tell any of them because he knew that they would try to stop him. But he feels that if he does this, it'll be, the one thing that he does in his life that mattered to set things right. And the world will be fine because they have the rest of the team left over. So now we're left with Wonder Woman, Cyborg, and the Flash. And at this point is where Wonder Woman kicks in, and she realizes it's time for me to be a leader because everyone else is either gone or in a coma. Right. So she's like, fuck this. I'm going to lead the Justice League. We're going to go over to Russia and hopefully try to stop Bruce from killing himself if we can get there in time. Flash is like, well, there's only 3 of us. There's potentially only going to be 3 of us. So we need one more guy. Let's bring in one more person. And Wonder Woman's like, well, who do you have in mind? And so we recruit the 7th member of the Justice League at this point, who, in a twist, is Barry Allen.
Okay. Oh, shit.
Because remember, our Barry is from the future. He's from a future where everything went to shit.
Oh,
while he's been doing this stuff in present day, there's been a Barry Allen running around stopping Captain Cold and everything like that, has no idea what's going on. Yeah. So present day Barry goes back to his apartment and runs into future Barry. And future Barry, like, they have a bit of a geek out moment because young Barry doesn't know that he can time travel and everything. Yeah. So he's like, this is awesome. I can't believe I got to turn into you, and you get to like join with Batman and everything. And then like older Barry is like, oh man, I remember this apartment and like that suit that I had and everything. And just like, I wish these are simpler times. Yeah. And he tells him what's going on and what's at stake. And young Barry is like, well, hold on. Like, why does it need 2 speedsters? Like, they already have you and you're way better than me because you're me in the future. And older Barry's like, look, it's because I know that if you're successful in stopping Darkseid, that erases my timeline, which means I'm gone. And the world needs the Flash. The Justice League needs the Flash.
Oh, shit.
More than ever. And I also came back not just for the world and for the Justice League, but for you, because I know that you can do so much more than fight guys with boomerangs and cold ray guns. And I want you to see that. This is sort of my gift for you, my younger self. So young Barry's like, all right, I'm in. So now we got both Flashes, Wonder Woman and Cyborg, down to go off to Russia, and they go back to the Batcave, and they're just like, all right, we need a way to get to Russia. And Alfred's like, all right, I might have something. Master Bruce was working on this prototype, and it's a plane that'll take you there, but it has a special cloaking system that'll allow you to get there so that Darkseid doesn't see you. And Wonder Woman's like, how good is the cloaking system? And Alfred switches it on, and the plane turns invisible.
Oh, shit.
And Diana's like, maybe I'll take this one.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Yes.
God damn it, man. You're a genius. Oh, my God.
So they all go into the plane to go to Russia and stop everything. And Alfred goes back to the bed where Superman's still in a coma and everything. Yeah. He hopes he wakes up, but nothing's happening. And he realizes that there's like a radio that's been left by Superman's bedside. And he hears a voice saying, Alfred, come in. And this is a big Alfred moment. And this is for Joey, because Joey complained about in the review that all Alfred did in the movie so far as Jeremy Irons is try to set up Bruce on a date. Mm-hmm. So instead, I'm going to give a different Alfred moment where Alfred is listening on the comms, and it's Bruce, and he's in the Batwing, and he's almost close, and he's going to kamikaze it into Darkseid's section.
Right.
But not before he says goodbye to Alfred. This is sort of a moment where you get to hear Bruce say everything he feels about Alfred, but he's never said before. So it's like, I just want you to know it's not your fault that I ended up like this. It's not your fault that it had to end this way. You did the best you could, and I can only thank you. Everything. And of course, Alfred is trying to be all proper English butler, saying, yes, sir. But like he's holding back tears because he knows this could be the last time he talks to Bruce. And Bruce is ready to do it, and he tells him, all right, goodbye, Alfred. And he signs off. And as the tears are rolling down Alfred's face, he looks over and he sees Superman's bed is empty.
Oh.
Then you hear the sonic boom and everything. Shit. And then as Batman's just about to crash the Batwing into the plane, he hears this thump on top of the plane, and he gets pulled out of it right when the plane crashes in, causes this explosion that basically opens up this rift that would allow them to fight off the parademons and everything. And he gets carried over into the invisible plane with everyone else. And now you got the whole fucking Justice League now in the plane.
Oh, shit.
And Superman is back, and Bruce is like, all right, like, guess I'm not going to die today, but like, what the hell, dude? that was not my plan. And Superman brings up, he's like, look, I know I said what I said under Darkseid's rule, but the thing is, what you don't realize is everybody's been talking about how much the world needs me, and the world needs Superman, but the world needs the Batman too.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole team kind of brings up, like, yeah, like, you might stand for different things from Superman, but you're the one who gathered the team together and everything. You're the strategist. You're the one with the most experience. This is not the day that you die and everything.
Right.
So Bruce is like, all right, fine. Here's the plan. And so they all land, and you got 6 members about to storm the castle of the parademons. But again, there's only 6 of them, and there's a shit ton of parademons because Darkseid has used the mother boxes to open up the boom tube to get everybody in. So there's like, it's just this infinitesimal stream of parademons coming in, like, okay, we don't know what to do, but here we go, and they're all ready to stand battle. The parademons are about to arrive. The first one is almost about to get them until a giant fucking shark comes out and bites the parademon. And they're like,
it's all I wanted.
And all these sea creatures come out and start attacking the parademons. And Aquaman emerges from the water, and he's got the whole Atlantean army behind him.
Oh,
and he tells Diana, I told you the 5 of you wouldn't be enough. And this is like a solo moment where he's like, look,
awesome.
The Earth might not give a shit about Atlantis, but Atlantis will always be there to protect the Earth.
Oh, shit.
And that's what you taught me.
Yes.
That's what Lane taught me. That's what taught me.
So it's a bunch of tridents being thrown all over the place.
Yeah, tridents are being thrown all over the place. The army's going to take care of the parademons. It's up to Justice League to basically lead the way to get to Darkseid. And so Superman pep talks them. Batman gives the plan. Wonder Woman unsheathes the sword and leads all of them into the battle. And this is where you go just full on Snyder slow-mo. The whole team is charging. Danny Elfman brings back the animated theme from the show. Dun, 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 like everything. All the audience is just like screaming their pants and shit. And they get to the other side where Darkseid is. And like, okay, here's the plan. We need to get Darkseid off this Earth and destroy the mother boxes in order to prevent this invasion. So Superman and Young Flash are going to save the civilians. Older Flash is going to use himself as bait for the Omega beams that shoot out of Darkseid's eyes. He's the only one fast enough, and he feels it's better for him to risk it than Youngberry, because if Youngberry dies, then both of them die.
Right.
And so that leaves Wonder Woman and Aquaman to fight off Darkseid and try to blind him and everything. And then Batman has a special assignment for Cyborg, where he's like, I had your dad create the device that's going to stop the mother boxes. You need to get to that other side to where the mother boxes is, and the rest of the team has to protect you to get to that other side. Mm-hmm. This is football, Victor. You're the quarterback.
Right.
Yes. Oh my God, dude.
Man.
So everybody is doing their thing. Superman and the Flash race off to the civilian things. Flash stops the truck. Superman saves the whole building, just like in the movie.
Right.
Wonder Woman and Aquaman are going at it with Darkseid trying to blind him. Older Flash is like trying to outrun the beams. Batman is like basically strategizing and looking at everything while occasionally taking out the parademons from where he's at. Cyborg is running through, and it's eventually gets to the point where everybody is sort of kind of trying to do their own thing and can't quite protect him. So he gets swarmed by all the parademons.
Oh yeah.
And he gets attacked, and he can't reach it. And he hears this voice on the comms that says, "Get up, son." And it's not any of the Justice League members, it's his dad. His dad has been able to calm in through Star Labs from back home.
Oh.
And he's seeing everything that's happening through Cyborg's other eye. And he's like, you were right before all this happened, that, I wasn't there. I didn't see you, in the football games, but I'm here now. And I want to tell you, I love you, son. Mm-hmm. Now get up and save the world. And so Cyborg throws off all the parademons and makes it all the way over to the mother boxes. And this is the tribute to Andrew, because Andrew said everybody should be all in and taking down Darkseid.
Fuck yeah, man.
So now you got the whole team members. Every single one plays a role in like incapacitating Darkseid. Darkseid gets blinded and everything. The last one left to do stuff are Wonder Woman and Cyborg. Wonder Woman's like, step aside, everybody. And everybody does. And Wonder Woman brings her bracelets together, which causes the force that sends Darkseid back into the boom tube. And then Batman's like, all right, now, Victor. And Cyborg is at the mother boxes. And he brings down the device like a fucking football and says, booyah! And destroys the mother boxes that closes the tube. Nice. And that's the end of Darkseid. Nice. So that's going on. Future Barry starts fading away. Because that's the end of his timeline.
Right, yeah.
And of course, the team isn't too happy about that. But he's like, look, you guys weren't the team that I originally was supposed to, help out with. But you guys turned out to be better.
Oh.
And now it's your turn to teach me to be a hero. And he sort of disappears after that. And it gives a lot of different fodder for the future movies. Because now, like, young Barry kind of has to live up to his future self in a way. And he feels intimidated by that. And that's a lot to deal with. And then Superman and Batman sort of have a reconnection in the fact that, okay, last time we worked together, Superman died and everything. So, like, they got a lot to talk about. But the main thing is Superman thanks Batman for creating the team. Because he's like, when I first started out, I didn't have anybody with me. It was just me.
Right.
And when I fought Zod, there were so many people who died. There were so many people who I wasn't able to save. I remember all their names and stuff.
Oh, shit.
And I just want to thank you, Bruce, because you've created a team where, the purpose of the Justice League is to make sure the Battle of Metropolis never happens again or anything like that. And since you gave me that gift, I'm going to give you something. And he gives him a lead box. And Batman opens it a little bit, and it's kryptonite.
Oh.
And Clark says, like, look, like, in a way, you were right. Darkseid showed that, like, I can be possessed and everything. I can turn against humanity. I need someone I can trust to be able to take me down. And Batman accepts that. And so it's like a gesture of the friendship,
right?
The beginning of the world's finest thing, and a resolution to this Batman versus Superman bullshit,
right?
So they can finally be friends again. Yeah. So you end with everybody's sort of completed their arcs. Superman has been resurrected from the dead and into this more hopeful, optimistic version. Batman has like let go of his guilt and everything and is ready to be part of this team. Wonder Woman has stepped up to become the main leader of the Justice League and everything out of the shadows. Aquaman is ready to protect the surface dwellers of the Earth. Cyborg has basically forgiven his dad and is working with him now when it comes to crime fighting. And the new Flash is like giving himself new confidence now because like, oh my God, I'm going to turn into that guy. And I'm part of the Justice League. I'm fighting with Superman and Batman. Right. And they all like reconvene at the end. And it's Wonder Woman who sort of speaks out when they ask, people are asking about this group. Right. And like, well, what do you guys stand for? And she's like, well, we stand for, bringing justice to all the people who plan to threaten the world. And they're like, okay, well, what do you call you? And Wonder Woman thinks about it for a moment. And then you cut to the credits that says Justice League.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Man.
Oh,
yes. Oh my God.
Dear Brothers Warner, please listen. Heed our calls. Heed Benoit's calls.
If we can all together right now, can we give Ben a round of applause through audio? That was the greatest movie we didn't actually see.
That's good. That's my number one. That's my number one.
Yeah. That's my favorite movie that wasn't actually a movie yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening, everyone. If you like this video, there are plenty of more pitch videos on the way. Just like, comment, and subscribe, and check out the podcast Superhero Stuff You Should Know with the link in the description below. Thank you.